Hey everybody, sorry I haven't been able to upload to YouTube very much over the last month. I've been dealing with a lot of problems in my personal life lately that have forced me to find a new place to live under short notice, so finding a time to plan and edit videos has been kinda limited. Fortunately, I've been able to find a place and things should get back to normal very soon. While I finished up the 3 videos I've been working on the last 2 weeks, I thought you guys might like to see me speedrun Dark Souls 3. I'm gonna upload 2 versions of this video. One will be the raw footage from Twitch, and the other will include my commentary over the video about the strategies I use in case you want to try out speedrunning for yourself. If you're watching this video, you'll be getting the commentary version. If you want to see the non-commentary version, click the annotation on the screen. Otherwise, sit back and enjoy the run. Alright, so I'm going to be doing commentary over this speedrun as kind of a guide on how to do speedruns. I'm certainly no expert, anything like that. But I want to note that right there in the beginning, you want to choose for the route that I'm doing, the Anri Straight Sword route, you want to start with the Assassin class and you want to choose the Black Fire Bombs as your gift. That'll become apparent in a second. Now right when you start, you want to hit start right away and you want to take off the hood and the armor, the shirt, or the chest armor. Grab the Ashen Estus Flask. The reason you take off that armor is because it gives you a little bit more regeneration on your stamina. You want your stamina to come back as fast as possible. That way it's pretty easy to, get through the area here as fast as possible. One thing to note really quick that you want to look out for in the entire speedrun is stamina management. You'll notice here that I try to run my stamina almost out, but you never want it to run completely out, because if you do that, you have to wait until your whole stamina bar comes back to use it again. So I always try to wait. Now, really early in the run here, of course, excuse me, we're coming up to our first boss, Gundyr. Now what you want to do with Gundyr, you want to hit Gundyr 5 times, and then you want to move to the side, get enough stamina to get 2 hits, hit him 2 more times. Then you want to wait for his attack. This attack was not a good attack. You want to hope you get an attack like that one, where you can strafe under him. After you get the attack, you go for 4 more hits. Right now, I'm waiting, 2 more hits and he goes down. Now that he's down, I want to wait until my stamina comes back just enough that I can get 4 hits in. I didn't do it right there, but you want to try to get the 4 hits in, because once you've gotten the extra 4 after he falls down, you can throw 4 fire bombs, and he is dead. So after that, you want to run to the door, of course, and when you get to the door, you want to quit out. Now, quitting out is something that is important because these runs run off in-game time. If you notice, my timer stopped. So when you're not in-game, you're not running your time. And the other thing is, it'll skip the door animation, so it gives you an extra couple seconds, basically, saved, which is important. Now that you've beaten Gundyr, you get your Ember, which is nice, fine, and dandy. And you want to run up to Firelink. Again, want to make sure that you're paying attention to your stamina. One thing that's good for stamina management that you'll notice here, I try to completely deplete my stamina because I know when I fall, I'm going to gain a lot of it back. You want to try to do that with items and stuff. Anyway, here, you buy 3 fire bombs, 1 prism stone, 1 bone, 1 dagger, 1 large leather shield. That'll become apparent soon why. Once you put this down, you equip the dagger in your second slot, you get rid of the Ashen Estus for the 3 fire bombs and the bone. Again, wanting to get good at quick menuing. It's something that took me a long time to get good at, but it's something you want to get good at. Now this here is something that's a little bit tricky. There's a lizard back here that has Twinkling Titanite. If you can angle your camera properly here, I always try to hit the root in the bush of that tree. You hit your camera and then hit the W key for those playing on PC, and then you can throw the 3 bombs. You should get the lizard, and then you want to try, after you get the lizard, as I fail there, to jump up here. You want to use the tree like that, jump up, grab this homeward bone, because you're going to use it later. And then essentially the other reason we're coming up here, other than just getting a homeward bone, is because you can actually trade with Snuggly the Crow if you're sitting here. So you drop the Prism Stone and you drop the Large Leather Shield, the 2 things that we bought. I always grab the Estus Shard here. You don't have to, but I like having it. You grab the 2 Twinkling Titanite and then you head back to the Shrine of Bonfire with a bone. Those 2 Twinkling Titanite will be used later in the run to upgrade our weapon, so it's very good getting those early. Now you want to sit down at the bonfire and you want to go to High Wall of Lothric. So there's a lot of stuff to do right in the beginning of the run. Don't stress if you can't get the lizard. If you can't get the lizard, you can actually go back out and run all the way around to the other side and you can kill the lizard manually. It's just about a 25 to 30 second time loss, so it really helps when you can get the lizard with the bomb, but it's definitely not the easiest thing to do. Anyway, another quit out there at the door. It gets kind of tedious to do it, but in the long run, it really does save you time to quit out at these doors. And it takes a little while to get good at quitting out really fast, especially quitting out while sprinting. Anyway, this is one of the, drawn out area or parts of the run where you run through an area. Typically in each area, we're going to have things that we're going for. The first thing that we're going for here is lightning resin. There are 2 lightning resin in the area that I'm about to run to, which we will use against 2 different bosses. So quick grab right there. You actually can, if you sprint fast enough, get an animation cancel there, and you'll like slide forward, but I didn't happen to get it there. Anyway, now you want to run through this area. This area always kind of bothers me because you have 2 archers here, or I guess they got crossbows. You always want to try to avoid those, and then there's these guys. They can swipe at you, which can be really annoying, like there. They get hit in the foot. And then you go up here. I always go to the left at this door and then go that way, but sometimes, again, they swipe. Don't panic, it happens. I heal there. I try to heal at the edge, because if you can actually heal, you can drop off an edge and cancel some of the animation, which is nice. Now, this is the key to why we started with the Assassin class. It comes with a spell called Spook. Spook will allow you to take no fall damage as long as it's a fall that would not kill you. So right here, I can drop down there, and then right there, and I'm all the way down in that area. Grab that ember because we're going to sell it for some souls later. And now, essentially, the only 2 things we have left to do is we want to go grab the small banner from Emma, and then we want to go fight Vort. Now, this is kind of a sucky area sometimes. Right here was really close. I was definitely clenching a little bit. But then you go in here. I was fine. Now, what you want to do, you want to talk to her until you have the small banner up. And then you wait a second, and then you can quit out. When you quit out, you'll actually be at the front door. It saves you a little bit of time. It's a little trick. One thing you can do too, since you have to wait a second to make sure you have it in your inventory, you can actually heal right there, like I did. It's a good spot to heal if you want to try to maximize your time. Anyway, now that's all that's left to do is to run to Vort. So I always kind of try to run on the right side to avoid that guy. And then you try to do your best to avoid that guy too. Now, when I go down here, I'm going to remove the firebomb from my quick menu slots since I don't need it anymore. And then I'm going to add the lightning resin because we are going to use the first lightning resin on Vort to make him easier. Now, when fighting Vort, the key is you want to try to get under him, like I've talked about in my boss videos. You want to use as little stamina as possible for anything other than hitting. You want to try not to roll if you can avoid it. And the majority of his attacks do not need to be rolled. He can get jumpy like that, just don't get frustrated with it. Just do your best to get under him and roll like there if you need to. Now, of course, he buffs halfway through. Try to get as many hits as you can, but don't get smacked by his ass. If you're too close, you'll get smacked by his ass. One thing you want to try to do here is, if you can, you want to navigate him to as close to the bonfire as possible, because it's nice to be closer when you kill him. In this particular case, I didn't do a good job of that, and he was really far away, so not too big of a concern. You want to come up, and you want to rest at this bonfire, because resting at this bonfire skips the door opening. It saves you a little bit of time. You get your SS back, which is nice. Now, before you go and raise the banner, you want to cast Spook, because we're going to do another jump here in a second that's going to save us some time. So quickly raise the banner, and then right off the bat, we're going to jump down here where these 2 dogs are. And if you roll right there in that spot, you can grab the alluring skull from like the side of the dog, and the dogs won't aggro. If you can get that roll, it's so helpful. For the longest times, those dogs aggroed to me, and it was just so annoying. I could not stop them from aggroing to me. It was just so fucking frustrating. Anyway, you want to grab this bonfire here because we're going to come back here. We're going to use a bone later to go to bonfire last rested. And now, this is what I'm talking about, the running quit outs. This is something that takes a little bit of getting used to. You kind of have to hold the controller in a weird way. I won't show it in the video, but look up something called a claw grip. If you use a claw grip, it really helps with quitting out there. The reason we quit out there not only was because I had a dog behind me, but you also want to quit out there because sometimes the hollow dude, he'll block the door, and that's very slow. You can get attacked. It just sucks. But as you'll see here, the other advantage of quitting out is it resets enemy position. So that's something I'll strategically use throughout the run to either reset enemy position when it's not favorable for me, or if I'm in an emergency or I'm getting hit a bunch, I might try to quit out really fast to save my life. Anyway, you want to drop down here, grab the SS shard in front of the fat lady, and start running to the door over here. And also note that I grabbed the pine bundle, or I'm not sure if it was the bundle or the resin. I guess I'll see here in a second. It was the bundle. Okay, you want to grab the bundle before you drop down for the Estus Shard. And you want to make sure you grab that resin. We're going to use both of those, of course, throughout the run. Excuse me. And then it's really just, it's going to be running through here for a while. This part took me a long time to get good at, like getting through here without getting hit by enemies a lot. I really struggled with it. Again, stamina management is key. You always want to keep an eye on your stamina as much as you can. Try to maximize it, use it the best you can, which isn't easy. It takes a while to get good at it, it really does. Now, you don't have to do what I'm about to do. I'm going to grab the Undead Bone Shard here because it only takes like an extra 5 to 7 seconds, and I personally find it to be worth it. You don't even need to jump. If you do it like I did, you can actually kind of just slip right on there. It's kind of scary, but yeah, you can do it. The other scary thing is that door right there. If that dude with the hammer does not come out of the door, you can be really screwed there. And that's an area where you might need to do one of those fast quit outs that I was talking about. Anyway, here we're actually going to put our armor back on for the first time. Because these guys can be really difficult during this upcoming fight at the Great Wood. It's really a pain. Anyway, you want to put the resin, the pine bundle, and the alluring skulls on, because we're going to use them throughout the run. It's just a good time to put them on. And we're going to use 2 pine bundles here at the Great Wood. So I always take that guy out and then immediately use the bundle, and you need to get 6 hits on the center there. Don't worry too much if those guys get there. You can kind of stack them up and it's very nice. The next spot you want to go for is this on the leg. You can hit it right there. Sometimes you can have the bundle left and you can get it in one shot. I didn't do a very good job here. But the next spot you want to try to go for is his hand, his right hand. I managed to get it at the last second, which was very clutch. But that's essentially what you want to go for. You want to go for the center, you want to go for the right leg, and then the right hand. You use another pine bundle when you get down here, and then you need to get, I think it's like 6 or 7 hits there to get the center. And then you want to hit that one. I got it really quick, but let me just tell you, the hitbox on that left butt cheek is awkward, very awkward. So you grab that bone, and then it was very quick there, but you want to go to the bonfire last rested at, because this is going to take us back to the Undead Settlement. And this is where we want to be because we're going to run to the Crucifixion Woods next. So do the same thing, quit out here. While I'm reloading, I'll review what I did in that fight. Once again, you want to hit the center on the Crystal Sage with the first pine bundle. Try to hit the right leg if you can. If not, get the 3 hits to kill the right leg. Get the 3 to 4 hits to kill the right hand. Once you drop down, use another pine bundle. You want to kill the center again. And then you want to get that left butt cheek, but remember that that's a little bit awkward. If there's anything left, if there's any health, just hit the hand. Anyway, you want to drop down here. I get kind of an awkward drop there. There is a platform you can drop, but anyway, you grab the pine bundle because we're going to use those shortly. Watch out for those, as they're called thralls, but I call them sorting hats dudes. And I shout no Slytherin all the time because sometimes those dudes just fuck with me, I swear. They got what I call the swiggity swooty factor. They'll just chase you down relentlessly so fast, and it's scary. Anyway, you want to walk over the side of this cliff, and we're going to make a jump that can be kind of challenging here. So you have the first sorting hat dude come down. You have the second. You want to dodge his hit, and then you want to do that jump right there. You want to go around the right side, and you want to jump onto this platform. Once you do, you want to take off your head and chest armor again, and then we're going to cast Spook. You got to be careful not to cast Spook too early, like too close up, because you'll get hit by that one guy back there, the Mountain Maker guy, and you don't want that to happen. And then once you get to the door, you quit out again to save time. Like I said, we're in the first 10 minutes of the run, and as you can see, quit outs happen quite frequently. It's just something that the Speed Souls community agreed upon, that quit outs would be used, and it saves in game time. Anyway, you Spook again here before you get too far in, so the elevator doesn't start moving. And now we're going to drop straight down. Just as soon as you hit the ground, roll. And then as soon as you hit the ground, roll again. And bye, Sigurd. So you just go straight down here. Now, try to manage your stamina so you don't have too little stamina here. You'll get some back when you grab the item. And if you run forward like this and hold up your shield, he almost always does that attack, and you'll just run right past him. And it's very safe. And then, yet again, quit out at the door. Like I said, you got to get good at the quit outs because they're definitely used very, very frequently in the run. And I struggled so much early on when I couldn't quit out fast. So if you can't quit out fast and you're new to speedrunning, don't get frustrated. You get better at doing the quick hand movement over time. It just takes practice. It takes getting used to, like anything else. Anyway, for this next portion of the run, what we're going to be doing is running to Anri and Horus at the, I believe it's the halfway fortress bonfire. What we're going to be doing there is killing Anri. Because Anri's straight sword is the weapon that is used for this route. This is the Anri straight sword route, and we are going to use that weapon for the rest of the run. It's a very, very powerful weapon that scales with luck, and luck also scales with bleed. You'll see that as I describe it later in the run, but you'll see why. You might say why luck, but there's a good reason for it. Now, what I'm going to do here with Anri, before I get to Anri, I'm going to put my chest and head armor back on, because this is a very reset heavy portion. They can really kill you, but what you want to do here, you want to use your black firebomb, and you want to hit both of them. And then I do it my own strat here. I take out a charcoal pine bundle, and I try to hit Anri 4 times. It's not necessary, but I always do it for security. Now you want to go over here and use Spook. The catch is you want to make sure Anri's following you. Now what you want to do, if you noticed when I fell right there, for a second I stopped. What you're supposed to do is you can actually stick the landing there, and then you want to wait. And if you wait, Anri will attack, and you can roll, and Anri will fall right over you, and she'll die when she hits the ground, as long as she doesn't land on the platform. If she does, then you have a problem. She won't die, and then she'll Estus, and it gets complicated. Now here, I fucked it up, and I missed her, but now I get the strat. I went back up, I didn't panic, and I managed to get her killed. So now we have the weapon for our run. Like I said again, that can be a very, very reset heavy portion. It took me plenty of practice to have the composure to be able to do that and just run back up and be able to do that. In the beginning, I would have just kind of like gotten frustrated and been like, fuck, Anri, like, fuck, she hit me, I fell down, blah, 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 and whined. But anyway, you want to come up here and you want to grab this bonfire. Now, you can run straight on to the next part, which I try to do here, but instead, as I try to panic quit out, this dog kills me. You have to be careful of the dogs because, unfortunately, the dogs in this game have a tendency to teleport, and they can really screw with you if they do. But the goal there is to grab the bonfire because we're going to be coming back here when we fight the Crystal Sage. Anywho, you want to jump down, and I jump down and grab the shield and immediately run over here. Now, typically what you want to do is put your quit out screen up, and you'll run over here, and you want to get to right about where I'm standing now, and you want to quit out because you get invaded by Yellowfinger Heisel, an NPC. But if you have your quit out screen up before you get invaded, you'll actually be able to skip the invasion if you quit out on the island, and that's what you want because we're going to need to use a homeward bone here shortly. Anyways, I get to the bottom of the ladder, I switch to Anri's straight sword, and I'm also going to switch to the Grass Crest shield, which will, of course, allow me to get stamina back faster. That's the main reason to get that. As I said, stamina management is key. It's very helpful having a shield that can help you manage stamina faster. If you notice one of those dudes fell, you always kind of want one of them to fall. It's not the end of the world if they don't, but it allows you to get the stats that you want right now. If not, you have to wait for later, which kind of sucks. Definitely be careful there. I always get kind of spooked by that guy. He can be a little but anywho, you want to grab that Estus shard, as I was talking about the other thing. And then I always quit out after these. I skip the cutscene for the fire, and then I quit out immediately because, as I said before, that's going to reset enemy position, and that is very, very key. You want enemy position to be reset because sometimes they'll be swarming all over you and you'll die. And it's much better to lose like 3 to 4 seconds to the quit out animation than it is to die. So anyway, you keep running here. Remember that based fucking Gru on the right. He's not a problem as long as you manage your stamina properly and don't lose it at the wrong time. But if he grabs you, like, good luck. You're probably dead. And this was even more clinch-worthy because I didn't have an Ember because that dog killed me. So I was running through here with pretty low health, which was very scary. Again, I quit out because those two dudes were there. I'm not trying to deal with that. You don't always have to quit out. You can roll like a madman and try to get out of it, but typically I quit out because I'm a scared little bitch. And I don't want to lose the run. At this point, I was feeling good about this run even though I died to the dog, and I did not want to lose this run. So anyway, the next goal is to get past these guys. They shouldn't be too much of a problem. Make sure you have your full stamina bar, and then just hold your shield up, run past. They typically don't hit you, and then you should be able to run all the way to the bonfire without losing your stamina, and you get all your stamina back after you light it. Now, you don't want to rest or anything. I've still got 2 Estus at this point. You know, I'm feeling pretty good. You want to go over here and roll off, and we're going to go grab that undead bone shard in the middle of all the slugs. Now, if you're in the right position, you won't get hit, but as you're going to see here, that's not always the case. And I panicked and like rolled to get out of there for whatever reason, and I kind of forgot about the poison, so I died like an idiot. Now, fortunately, these 2 deaths weren't big losses because I died like super close to bonfires I just grabbed. So fortunately, I wasn't screwed over too much, but that's one thing to learn as a runner too, is keep your composure after deaths that don't matter much, or even just deaths in general, because in the beginning you're going to die a lot. I mean, I've been running for a couple of weeks, I think like 2.5 weeks, and this is the first game I ever speedrun, and it's kind of crazy. Anyway, to focus on what's going on, you want to put the dagger equipped, and you want to 2-hand it, because the 2-hand for the dagger allows you to quick step. And the quick step will allow you to do what I'm doing right now, skipping through this, which was a brilliant discovery by the speedrunning community, or maybe somebody else figured it out, I don't know. But it allows you to skip through the muck very fast. That's the reason we buy that dagger in the beginning, because it allows you to get through there very fast. Now, the reason I quit out there is because normally that dude, the big guy or whatever, he'll be walking to the right and he won't be a problem, but because he was chasing me there, there's a good chance he would smash me right after I did the animation for doing the fire, so I just went ahead and quit out to reset his position. But anyway, that's why the dagger is used. It's used to get through the muck very quickly, so it's very, very helpful. Now we're pretty much done here. We're gonna take out this bonfire. I keep calling them bonfires, I think they're just fires. And then we're gonna go back to the shrine bonfire. Now we finally get to upgrade our character a little bit. For the first time, we get to actually go back and do some upgrading. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sell the 2 embers that we have, and we're going to sell the current boss souls that we have. So sell them really quick, and then we're going to go to Andre. We want to upgrade Henri's straight sword to +2. If you've grabbed the Estus shards that I have, you will have 3 that you can upgrade. And sometimes Dark Souls menus can be a little clunky, so don't get frustrated with that. It happens to me all the time. Then you want to allot the S's, and see, I fucked up there. Like, I tried to press X, and it didn't happen fast enough, and I walked too far away. So anyway, you have 7 S's at this point, which is very nice. And then you want to go to the Shrine Maiden, or the Fire Keeper, excuse me, and you want to level to 21 luck. I know it's weird. I know it's weird to level luck, but Henri Straight Sword scales with luck, and like I said, trust me, it will become apparent why we level luck later. So for now, you need to make it with minimal stamina. Anyway, burn the 2 undead bone shards, and then you want to go to the Crucifixion Woods. So at this point, you have 7 Estus +2, which is pretty good. That's pretty much the rest of what we're going to get for the run. We're going to get 1 more Estus shard, and we're going to get 1 more undead bone shard, but that's pretty much what we're going to use throughout the rest of the run. And we will level vigor eventually, so those of you like me that you guys know me from my videos, I like to have a shitload of health. You'll feel better later in the run. I did a soul level 1 run to get ready for this. I highly recommend that you do some kind of challenge to get ready. It really, really does help. I did a soul level 1, and that I think that helped me get good for this. Anyway, you just want to run to the sage. You want to try to avoid getting hit as much as possible. That way you don't have to heal, but it's not a big deal. Anyway, try to stay far back so the sage doesn't spawn. Now the key for this fight, you want the sage to do the homing soul mass spell. I get really lucky here, and the sage does it right away. The reason you want the homing soul mass spell is because the sage will not leave as long as it has one of its 5 homing soul masses above it. It's a very good trick, and it can lead to you actually getting a 1-cycle crystal sage. Now I fucked it up there because I got hit a little bit, but the key really is to continue to rotate around the crystal sage. You expend your stamina bar, try to hit it 3 times after that, and then wait till your stamina comes back, hit it another 5, and it is possible to get the 1 cycle. If you don't panic. Using the pine resin is a little bit iffier than some other strats that use the pine bundle. The key here is to know that the crystal sage will always spawn in an area where it can normally spawn. It'll never spawn in the middle of the map or anything like that. It'll always be on the edges of the map. So you just, honestly, it's a guessing game. But you can handle it pretty well. Just be careful of the magic attacks. They can really suck. You want to kill those 2 lizards because they give us more Twinkling Titanite for Henri's sword, which is great. If you want to, for safety, you can grab the bonfire up here because if you were to die, you would respawn at the Crucifixion Woods, but I was feeling pretty confident at this point. I had 6 out of my 7 Estus and full health, so I wasn't feeling too bad at all. Now, this next area, I'm sure for anyone who's played the game, which I assume you have if you're watching this, maybe, most likely. This area has a ton of dogs and archers. Run on the low level to avoid it, but As you're gonna see here, these dogs teleport like crazy. Like, look at this. They two teleport on top of me, and it just like stuns me. Thank God it didn't actually hurt me, but I used to quit out here to reset the dogs, but I stopped doing that eventually. Now, when you come up here, you want to hit the two guys in the middle, and it'll allow you to actually grab the Estus Shard right away. I fucked it up there, but you want to hit the two guys in the middle. And then again, this is why I quit out. Like, now you've got dogs teleporting up to you. It can get totally crazy. But anyway, yeah, you want to try to hit the two guys in the middle, grab the Estus Shard. If you need to quit out, that's fine. Now you're going to see me make use of something that's a trick with Honorary Straight-Sword. So Honorary Straight-Sword has a heal mechanic. It'll passively heal you while it's equipped. It has a chance to heal you based on the luck that you have, or I think it's something like that. But if you equip and unequip the sword, it'll actually give you 2 HP each time you do it. So in these runs, because we rest at Bonfire so infrequently, you want to try to save Estus as much as possible, and that's what I was trying to do here. I know it's a long run to the Deacons, so I was kind of like, well, whatever, I'll try to heal myself with the Honorary Straight-Sword as best I can. And but it takes practice too. The way I kind of do it is like, as I'm holding circle with my thumb, with the left side of my thumb, I tap X repeatedly. You can hold the controller in a different way and like use the middle finger for circle and index for X. You know, whatever. Anyway, be very careful here. Hug this left wall like I am here, because that Sorting Hat will come out and he will fuck you up. If you stay up against that left wall, you should be fine. Now, keep an eye out for that guy to the right over there. Typically, he's not a problem. Every once in a while, he is. This guy, you just move past. And then once you get up to the door here, you're going to quit out right away. That'll reset enemy position, and the door will be open. So that's just another quit out. Getting through that area can be kind of a challenge at first, doing that, running around enemies and stuff, but you'll definitely get used to it. Just like I said, key, definitely hug that wall where that Sorting Hat guy is, because Jesus, he's killed runs for me sometimes. Anyway, now what you're gonna do when you go in here, I'm gonna use Honorary Sword to heal a little bit, because when I have that little health, see, that's not worth wasting Estus for me. I can heal essentially pretty much the rest of the way using Honorary Straight-Sword. I'll run through here and use that. And then what we're going to do is, once I get through the door, don't walk too far and cast Spook, because you don't want to alert the giant yet. We're going to switch back to the Grass Crest and the Dagger, and we're going to get ready to do more of the dagger walking, as I'll call it. But first, we want to grab Lloyd's Sword Ring. It's the only ring we're going to use in this entire run, and it is very useful because as long as we're at full HP, you know, you get the extra damage. And if you're doing a speed run, you should hope to be pretty comfortable with these boss fights and hope you don't get hit too frequently. If you do, it's often worth healing in some cases just to get the extra damage back, but that's always a gut call. Always watch out for that little shit throwing attack that he does there, because it can hurt you a lot if you get hit by it. Keep dagger walking ahead, and I was fortunate here that, you know, I hadn't gotten hit at all, so I didn't really have to worry about my health anymore. You want to go ahead and equip Lloyd's Sword Ring, and then of course, take Honorary Straight-Sword back out, and now you just want to make your way to the Deacons. Now, for the Deacons, we're going to use 2 items. We're going to use that last Pine Bundle that we have, and we are also going to use an Alluring Skull. If you are not aware, the Deacons are actually affected by the Alluring Skulls, and it can make this fight a heck of a lot easier. Fortunately, I did this fight good. I fuck up this fight a lot in the run, but I did it good here. Now, what you have to do, you have to kill 5 of the red light Deacons to spawn the, you know, major Deacon. So get in, get your quick hit, and then just kind of get out. Stay away from them. Try not to get them to hit you, because like I said, you want your full health for Lloyd's Sword Ring. You want to have to try not to heal, because it just slows things down. So pretty good here. Managed to, that one guy was about to hit me, managed to get him with the sword. That was nice. I've gotten 4 of them already, so now I'm going to get ready for the next one. Now be careful, because you can backstab these fat ones here. What you want to do here is go for 5 hits, wait until you have enough stamina for 2 hits, get those 2 hits, and then immediately throw an Alluring Skull. Get those guys away, and then you should have the safe clearance to just kill this guy. And it should be no problem. So clean, easy, quick fight, and then bone out. Like I said, that does not always go according to plan. Sometimes you'll backstab a Deacon on accident, sometimes shit happens, don't get frustrated, but that's the essential strat. Get 7 hits, throw the skull, and then finish him off. And of course, he spawns after 5 of them die. Now you go and sell the 2 boss souls that you have. You level Vigor to 14, and you level Luck to 27. And now we are going to go to the Keep Ruins bonfire because we are going to finally face the Abyss Watchers, one of the best bosses in the game and one of my favorite bosses in the series. This is what I felt like was, even though I like Gundyr and Vord okay, this is like the first, like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is Dark Souls, like, boss that you fight. Nods to Artorias, and even in small ways a nod to Maria with the fire attacks, I feel. Very good boss. But this is where it gets a little bit iffy because something I've struggled with in runs is the desire to focus on speed. I lost a lot of runs for a while because I was thinking too much about speed and not enough about being careful. And of course you want to do these fights fast, but if you die, you're going to lose a lot of time. So you have to find the perfect balance between doing things fast and knowing when to back off. And that can be tricky. One thing I try to do in this fight that isn't the fastest strat, but it does make it a little safer, is I try to often go for backstabs on the Watchers, as you'll see. Now I take that path to the side, not the straight path, because it's safe and I typically don't get hit going that way. Quit out at the door, and then, you know, you have full health. If you run up the middle, sometimes you can actually get hit, and which is okay, and you just have to heal. But sometimes if you get hit enough, you'll get poisoned, and then you can't have Lloyd's Sword Ring active for the fight, which sucks, man. It makes the fight so much suckier because you don't do nearly as much damage. But as you're going to see here, we're going to use the other lightning resin, and the damage output is just going to be stupid for this fight. So here I saw he was going to do that attack. I try to dodge and then immediately go for the backstab and get it. Now what I always do here is I charge an attack and then I try to follow up with R1s. So I do a charged R2 and follow up with R1s. I knew my stamina was going to be out there, but I was okay with it because I wanted the hits and now I'm backed against the wall and pretty much just had him in a good spot there. Make sure you get fully healed because you want Lloyd's Sword Ring active. And then you can't ask for much better there. That was just good RNG. Both of the other guys spawned at the same time. It was very good. Same deal here. I'll try to go for backstabs if I can. I won't focus on it too much, but if I can, it's very helpful. Always take advantage of the fact, as you can see there, that they don't have enough poise, and that can be very helpful. Fortunately here, a good time to backstab is that slash down. Keep in mind, if you're ever low on health like there, questionably, I could have ran away to heal, and that's what I try to do here. I realized I was being a little greedy, and if you backstab him, you can run away and heal, and it's not a bad thing to do there. But fortunately, I finished the fight, even though I played it a little weird toward the end there, and it ended up being a gold split anyway. And for those of you who don't know what these numbers on the side mean, red means you're behind, green means you're ahead, and gold means it's the fastest time I've ever completed that segment. The reason you do splits is because you want to, you know, compare your segments to know how fast you're doing them. Anyway, cast Spook as that thing is moving, and then you're going to want to drop on that platform there, and then roll immediately down there, and then we're going to kill that little hat skeleton. This is going to be our last Undead Bone Shard. Some strats don't have you pick this up, but in my opinion, it's like, okay, it's an extra 5 seconds, and you get another Bone Shard. I feel that that's worth it personally. And then we're just going to continue to run through the spooky skeleton area. Fortunately, we don't spend too long here, which is preferable to me. I'm not a huge fan of this area. It's just skeletons out the ass and rats and all sorts of just nightmarish stuff. The next item we're going to grab is we want the Grave Warden's Ashes because we want to be able to buy bleed resin, so this is a very key item. However, once you roll through this illusionary wall, you want to get ready to quit out because there typically is a large rat following you. There's that guy down there who's throwing daggers at you, and there's another one like him who's up there behind you. Quitting out resets them and just makes that a totally safe experience, which, like I said, you definitely want. You definitely want it to be as safe as possible. So once you spawn, you want to grab the Grave Warden's Ashes right away, and then turn immediately around and go back, because now we're going to go to Wolnir. There's no more items we need or anything. That's really all you need from this area, other than the Undead Bone Shard, which, again, is optional, but personally I like to go for because it's not too far out of the way. Anything that only adds a couple seconds to the run and will make the rest of the run easier is useful to me because, you know, an extra Undead Bone Shard gives you that much extra healing. That may save you in a boss fight. And, you know, I'll give up 5 or 7 seconds to save myself in a boss fight later. You can try to heal with Enri's here if you don't want to use the Estus, but I often just, for some reason I'm not as good at running through this area while doing that, so I just go ahead and do Estus and then come to another door, and of course, the quit out. As I said, they are very frequent, and I'm not exaggerating about that, because there are a lot of doors in Dark Souls. There's a lot of doors. And of course, you always open them in that epic way. You don't open them quickly. You open them in that very slow and dramatic way. So you gotta quit out if you want to save the extra seconds, because it does add up. Anyway, there's this very specific strat for Wolnir that should make him very easy to do. We're going to use the charcoal pine resin. And before we do this fight, I want to make something clear that I learned recently and blew my mind. His hand and the bracelets have separate health. Do not waste time on the hands in this fight. Always go for the bracelets. You hit the 2, like you can walk up to his hand and hit that, and it's 2 and it's already broken. He'll always move his hand there. Sometimes he moves it back like that, but he'll always move it there. So you can go get the hits, and that helps. It should be 5, and then that bracelet will break. And then it's another 5 for this bracelet. So I get 1 hit there, and I start to play it safe because I know he's going to crawl up, and right now he's got it in the poison. Like, I'm trying not to die here. He's breathing the poison. I could have gone for it sooner, but I wanted to just be really safe. So I go here, get the extra hits, and then he's dead. You want to go ahead and use the Soul of the Abyss Watchers, and you can also have time if you're quick enough to use the Soul of Wolnir here. If not, you can sell them to the Shrine Maid the next time we go back. It's no huge deal. Anyway, you get the bonfire there because we're going to go back here much later in the run to fight old Demon King. He's a boss you fight pretty much at the end of the run, and he'll be a joke. As you'll see, my split for him is called LOL Really, and that's because he's a joke. He really is in the run. This part of the run is probably one of my least favorite parts because it's very, very long until you fight Yorm. As you can see, that's the next boss that we're going to fight. We're not going to go to Ponif first, so it's going to be a while till we get to Yorm. I try to keep my inventory down there clear as possible, like get rid of the 0 items because you want to be able to switch to items as quickly as you can. Again, quick menuing is something that takes some time to get used to, but eventually you'll be able to do it where you can get rid of them on the run. And it's definitely very helpful to be able to do so. Now, grabbing this bonfire is not required, but I have a tendency to die in this area, and I feel that it's good to grab it because otherwise you're going to go all the way back to Wolnir, and it's a lot of time. And I'm going to spoil it for you right now. I don't die here a ton, but I do die every now and again, and I do die here because sometimes that guy will follow you, and he puts a lot of pressure on you, which honestly just made me kind of nervous. But you can run past them, and then you just got to avoid these guys' attacks. This dude will sometimes do that spray. It's kind of hard to avoid while avoiding those guys. And then you got these guys, run past them, because then you have to come up here, and you have to get the Crystal Lizard, because this is another piece of Twinkling Titanite. Now, you can quit out there and reset the enemies. I decided not to because I was being cocky as shit, and I paid for it, as you're about to see. I could have dodged that attack and it would have been fine. I could have kept running to the Church of Yorsko, which is where we're going, but I just missed the dodges. I mean, maybe you're a lot better at the game than me and could not miss, but I mess up every now and again. So that's, I think, my 3rd death in this run. And funny enough, I haven't died to any bosses yet, but I've died to some random stuff in the area. And this was the first big time loss of the run. Like the other deaths didn't really cause much time, but this death cost me about 30 seconds. And I was kind of chafed about it, honestly. I was just like, fuck, dude. You can see all the golds over there. And I was just like, really? Really? Did I have to die there? But again, I encourage you to have that be something that you get over in runs because it's you guys might not watch American football, but something they always talk about that's really crucial for quarterbacks is like if they throw an interception or a bad throw, you need to forget it on the next play. You got to be able to do the same thing as a speedrunner or a gamer. You got to forget what happened before. It's a new fight. And here, he did the same attack and I dodged it perfectly. So that's what I mean. You got to forget it. I was a little frustrated, but I quickly scooted that out of my head and said, you know what? I didn't lose that much time. We're on a good run. I'm going to do this shit. Anyway, you go through here. If you want to be safe, you can grab that bonfire. I never grab it anymore. I used to grab it and get the shortcut for Ponif later in the run in case I died to Ponif, but I'm very confident at Ponif now, so I typically don't grab it anymore. Anywho, we're going to run this way, and yeah, we're going to go through this dark area. Be kind of careful here, because that dude up there on the rafters that you'll see drop down shortly, make sure you're hugged against the wall, because I actually lost a run the previous stream of this one to doing that, to getting grabbed by that guy. You want to try to angle there so that you can jump over the stairs and do a dropping attack on a Crystal Lizard that's back here. I've been getting it lately, but I for some reason missed it here. If you do, you just go through here and get the Crystal Lizard, and it's no big deal. You want to take off all your armor before you get in the water because it'll allow you to get your stamina back a lot faster. And really, when going through the water, you pretty much just want to roll. Rolling. You just want to roll. And we are not going to go to the left here. We are not going to go toward Ponif. Like I said, we're going to go to the distant manor bonfire because we're going to go toward Yorm first. Now, sometimes you may want to rest at this bonfire. Me here, I saw that I had 7 Estus. I think that's 7. Sorry, I'm watching this in my editing program. It's kind of blurry, but I think I have 7 Estus here. So I just said forget about it. I will just light this bonfire. But you absolutely want to light it because we're going to use this later to get back to Ponif. Keep your armor off for the time being. I like to roll off here because if you do, it seems not to aggro that Ponif Knight that's back there. And it seems to not aggro that guy too, which is very nice. You go ahead and put your armor back on, and then now you're going to see what I was talking about earlier, even though, funny enough, I didn't have my Ember here and I did it anyway. You want to pull up your menu like this, and you want to run through here, and you got to be quick about it because if you're not on this quick enough, you'll get invaded, and that is a problem because we're going to do some skips here, which I'll explain. But I didn't need to do it there because I wasn't Embered. I'm just realizing this now as I'm watching it back, and that's pretty funny. But anyway, once you hear the ding like you've gotten to a new area, I'm sure you guys know the sound, you know you're safe. And then you can quit out and the invasion will be skipped. Anyway, you want to go ahead and light this bonfire because we're going to use it later. And then we're going to run through here and quickly get the key because we're also going to use the key later. But coming up is going to be the first one of the skips in the run. But I will explain it a little bit more once we get there. The one thing you want to make sure you do here is you want to grab the pale pine resin that's in this room because we're also going to use that against 2 bosses later in the run. Go ahead and open the gate, and then of course you're going to run ahead and to the right, and that's where the I think it's called the jailbreaker key. That's where the key is that you want. But instead of going back and using the key, we're actually going to roll right off here. Try to stay as far to the right so you avoid that little kicking asshole right there. And then also be careful as you run up here because there's like a lizard thing. I don't even know what they are, but he tries to hit you with a sword. You can just walk around it. Now what you're going to do here is you're going to cast Spook, but as you are falling to the ground, you are going to quit out. And as soon as your character hits the ground, that's when you want to hit quit out. Basically what this does, it's a very old glitch that allows you to avoid death. The game essentially doesn't register your death, but it does register that you're in that area, so it allows you to do this. Now I'm down in that area. And for those of you who know your way through this area very well, you know how much I just skipped. I probably saved about a minute by doing that. It's something that takes a little bit of practice, being able to quick menu that while you're falling and then getting to the the quit out appropriately, but it takes some effort. And here, it's the same thing. You go over here, you jump, and then you're going to quit out. Here, I do it way too early. Personally, I always feel that doing it early is better than doing it late, because if you do it early, you'll just be back up in the same spot and you can try it again. If you do it too late, you die. So when you're practicing it, doing it too early isn't too bad. You want to do it as soon as you're hitting the ground. You'll get a feel for it. It's really something that you can only kind of learn by doing, but essentially as soon as you hit the ground and start hearing the scream, that's when you want to be hitting the quit out button. This time I do get the quit out correctly, and like I said, I lost a couple of seconds for using Spook and falling again, maybe 5 seconds or something like that. Not a big deal. Way better than dying and having to run all the way back through your old dungeon and shit. So I always come up next to this thing and cast Spook here because you'll dodge that fireball or it'll get blocked. I always try to dodge that fireball before I drop, and then Spook will allow you to safely drop all the way down. And you can kind of just drop down into this area, which saves you some time and having to go across that bridge with that annoying gargoyle dude. And then now we're going to go fight Yorm. Yorm in a speedrun isn't too out of the ordinary from what you normally do. The one key with Yorm is you want to go for headshots on Yorm. But let me be clear about this. You want to go for them in the second phase, because if you get a headshot on Yorm with the Storm Ruler in the first phase, then you will immediately make him go phase 2 if you hit him with a headshot to start. So I never try to go for headshots. I mean, it sometimes is unavoidable, but you don't want him to go second phase because the problem with second phase is that he recovers faster. So it's harder to charge your Storm Ruler. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the fight, but really just don't get greedy and try your best to get away from him and charge right away. and everything. Like here, fortunately, I was able to get 2 charges off fairly quickly, and I just try to get away from that attack, get the hit, and now he is going to buff. Now, I've found it to be most consistent if you get in front of him, lock onto the head, and move slightly to the left. As he's getting up, you can get a headshot. That's a headshot. When you see his head dangling limply like that, you know you got a headshot. Basically, getting a headshot gives him extra stun time, so it lets you get another full charge. There, I thought I got a headshot, but I didn't, so I was kind of upset, and like there I got a little scary. I'm very lucky that I didn't die to that, because him being in second phase and me not being embered, I'm very lucky. But that was a very clean and good Yorm fight. I struggled with Yorm for a long time in the speedruns because you can die. It's very hard. One thing to mention there with boning back, once you hear a certain sound, there's a sound cue. It's like, Bwah. That's probably a horrible reenaction of it, but it's the sound that it's safe to bone out because you need the souls. It's required in the run. Anyway, you want to give her the Grave Warden's Ashes. You want to sell the boss souls. Now you want to buy 12 Karthus Rouge, and you want to buy 11 Homeward Bones. If you use the right bumper or R1 button, it'll immediately give you plus 10, so that helps there. You want to get Henri's Sword to plus 3. You want to use your last Estus Shard. So now our Estus is 8 plus 3 after we use the Undead Bone Shard here. So we have all the Estus and Undead Bone Shards we're going to have for the run. Now you want to level 17 Vigor and 36 Luck. Now we're almost full on our damage, and we've got a decent bit more health. I mean, we're not like lighting the world on fire with it, but we do have way more health than when we started. So that's nice. Now you want to warp back to the Distant Manor Bonfire after using the Undead Bone Shard that you got during the Wolnir fight. And now we're going to go to Sullivan, which the run up to Sullivan can be kind of scary, and I'll talk about why as we go. But before you do that, you want to take off your armor because, again, we're going to go through the water very shortly, and it just helps to have the extra stamina regen from being so light. So rolling. And then you should keep rolling here. I didn't for some reason. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm still new to this, and sometimes I'm managing my stamina weird. Just run through those things. You should never get hit by them. I don't think I ever have been. Once you get back in here, you can go ahead and start putting your armor back on. I go ahead and just do it while I'm running. And then here I put on the bleed resin and the pale pine resin. Quick note, you can hit R1 or RB to switch to the next item in the menu. That really helps. And then I still have an Alluring Skull on, and that's because when I get up here, I'm going to, as these dogs are waiting to come down to me, I'm going to throw an Alluring Skull right here, and that'll keep these 2 dogs at least out of my hair. There's 4 dogs in this area, and they're very annoying, so having half of them out of your hair really helps. I always try to hide behind that lamppost and not aggro the dogs and regen full stamina. And don't roll. Here, you really want to just try to manage your stamina well for running, and you want to try to make use of the fact that you can make sharp turns to kind of block the dogs. I made the mistake early on of rolling a lot, and you don't want to roll a lot. You want to sprint more than you roll, because rolling uses a lot of stamina and is kind of slow. Now make sure you dodge that guy's attack. It's not too hard to dodge. He has kind of a weird delay on it. I switch to the parry shield as I go through. You want to make sure you have full health for Lloyd's Soitering, and then you want to use the first Karthus Rouge. And now you want to parry Ponif as he jumps at you. It's always the same attack, always the same timing. I missed the parry here. If you miss the parry, don't panic. I used to panic when I missed the parry. But here I just start fighting him. That's the attack you want him to do after the first parry, because it's a very easy attack to parry. And as you can see, the luck and the bleed does a lot of damage. So I didn't panic here. I went to heal and then, dodge, and I was getting ready to fight him, and then I got lucky and he did that attack again. So I got the second parry. So you need 2 parries, and then you can see his health it's decimated. So now he's gonna buff. Make sure you get out of the way, of course, because you'll get hit. Then he's dead at this point, basically. Like, that is why we level luck. I always say it in the runs. That is why we level luck, because the bleed is just absurd. It makes Ponif a joke, and honestly, that wasn't a good Ponif either. If you get the parry in the beginning and then a second parry quickly, he's dead in like 20 seconds. It's really ridiculous. Once you go down there, jump, and then quit out, because it's very handy. Those lizards run away. If you quit out, they'll both be sitting there when you spawn back in. It's very, very useful. Anyway, I got up there to go to the bathroom for a second, but I kindly edited that out for you guys so you didn't have to sit there. You can see my chat from Twitch is posting my chair emotes, because my My chat loves my chair. It's called Chair Stream, so they like to post that funny-ass chair emote that I have if you're a subscriber on Twitch. Anywho, you want to kill the lizard. Sometimes they run away, which is annoying, but don't panic and just kill them. Worst case scenario, if they do somehow get away, just quit out and the lizard will be there again. Make sure you switch back to the Grass Crest Shield because you want to have the stamina regen. Very important. Really does make a difference. And, you know, over the course of 30 seconds, it's not a big deal, but over the course of the run, you know, it saves a lot of time to have the extra stamina regen. It really, really does help. Anywho, now you're just going to run through this area and you're going to go up to, as I so lovingly like to call him, Aldbitch. And you're going to see why I call him Aldbitch, because he is one of the most RNG heavy fights in this run, without a doubt. What you want from Aldrich is you want melee attacks. You want melees like nobody's business. But sometimes he just wants to arrow. And man, when he does, get ready to get fucked. But anywho, be careful of these archers. Make sure you kind of get in a rhythm with where their arrows are. It takes a little bit of practice, but you kind of get used to it, and then it's not too hard to go through there. I always just go to this roof and roll off, and then watch for this guy, because sometimes he'll do a lightning and just roll through it, and you're good to go. Now, when you get to this lever, one handy thing, just like doors, after you've used the lever, you can quit out, and as you're going to see, this thing will be all the way down when I come back in the game. It's a huge time save, because I'm sure any of you who've played the game and have waited for that thing can take forever to come back, it seems like sometimes, or come down. So definitely saves a lot of time to do that, which is very nice. Now, once we get back in, standard fare, we're going to run up and we're going to hit the lever. After we hit the lever, we're going to try to use Pontiff's Soul and consume it. You can't do it until you've stopped the lever animation, so it'll get kind of like weird sometimes. Yeah, it's kind of weird. If you notice there, I controlled my camera weird. It's because I actually use a weird grip where I'm controlling my it's the claw grip. I control the right joystick with my index finger, and I did it kind of weird there. But controlling the camera does help. It makes it so your movements aren't so jumpy and very smooth, and it actually saves you time. The claw grip, again, is very much worth learning. I always grab this bonfire because I swear I just have problems at this part, so I grab it for safety. That way I don't spawn back at the distant manor, because I don't grab the Pontiff bonfire either. So you really don't want to fuck up there. Anyway, we're gonna run through. Let's all pour one out for our homie Giant Blacksmith. Love you, baby. And then we're gonna go up the stairs, the long stairs. And then we're going to get ready to spook again, because we're going to do another fall here. And this one can be kind of hard to do. It's the same concept I was talking about with that lizard with the stairs where you jump. What you want to do here is you want to go and you want to jump, and then you're going to get over. Don't do it too early up the stairs, or it's going to be too far of a fall and you will die. You want to make sure you do it toward the bottom of the first section. Now, I always run to the right side. I wait until they're done shooting their fireballs, because you absolutely want to use your bleed resin at the fog gate. Because the key with Aldrich is getting close to him. If he is close to him, he will not. If you are close to him, he will not use his magic. He can use arrows, but he absolutely will not magic. So you always want to be close to him. You want to go for melee, him to go for melee, because that'll allow you to bleed him. I mean, look at that damage. It's good damage. Now the key here is Aldrich will always spawn on the half of the map that you are not on. So that's marked by the middle pillars. Always do that. Try to get close so he doesn't use magic. And here, yeah, I got unlucky. In the first phase, you can kind of walk around to his side and it's no problem because the arrows don't track you. In this phase, the arrows track you. And this was a huge clench-worthy moment. I'm surprised those arrows didn't kill me. Like, I got lucky. I'm not even going to pretend like I didn't. And I kind of panicked there. Like, you can hold down on the D-pad to go straight to Estes, and I, like, panicked and just, I was not happy. And then I came over, and he did more arrows. Like, that's why you want to get close, because if you keep doing it, he'll keep doing the magic. I talked to my stream after this and heard that if you run in circles around the pillars, like, it can stop him from doing magic, and it's better for the arrows, but I don't know. I genuinely struggle with it. So I try to get close here, and he goes for more fucking arrows. I was very salty here. This is a prime example of just bad luck. That's that's the name of the game with these speedruns. Sometimes the bosses are just not going to do what you want them to do, and you know, it's just bad. But finally, he goes for a melee, and I'm able to get a couple of hits in, which at this point I think my bleed resin had run out, and I got too greedy there, and you don't want to do that because then you'll get hit by that. But I was just flustered. And now I have like 2/3 of my health and no Estus, and he still has 1/3 of his health. And I try to hit him some because I'm frustrated, and that was a dumbass idea because now he goes straight back down, which he'll do sometimes, and now I have like no health, and I have to clutch this because it's a huge time loss if I don't. And I'm so lucky he melees. Be very careful. That melee is hard to dodge. You got to dodge twice. I think I'm going to get him, and then he goes back down again, unfortunately, and I'm losing it at this point, but fortunately I run back. I get over to him. I get him to do a very easy melee attack to dodge, and then finally I'm able to finish the fight. Now, the problem is, in this strat, after you've killed him, you are going to go straight to the dancer, and you're going to fight the dancer right away. And here, I had no healing, and I had a little tiny chunk of health, so I needed to do a no-hit dancer, which I can do and have done before, but it's definitely not ideal. But what I always do, you kill Emma, make sure you skip through her dialogue, because it goes on forever if you don't. And then I use the bleed resin while I'm waiting for her to die, and I grab the Basin of Owls. Once you do that, you just got to run to the altar and then run back, and you're good. The dancer spawns, and then you want to go ahead and attack her. And as you're going to see here, grabbed and wrecked. So one key thing there, when she does that grab, absolutely make sure you either A, are behind her, and then you're safe, or B, make sure that you roll to the opposite direction her hand is going. If you roll in the same direction her hand is going, you will have what happened to you there, which I do all the time. It's like a bad habit, but essentially what will happen is your iframes will run out and you'll get attacked. So if that happens, don't panic. Go back to Vort's Bonfire and you can just run up and fight the dancer. Now, the thing that is very scary about this is that at this point in the run, you have a lot of souls, and you cannot lose these souls. They're required for leveling up later in the run to finish the run out at a quick pace. So you have to grab those souls, and you have to be able to get a bleed resin in, and you have to be able to make sure your health is full for Lloyd Sword Ring. Like, you don't have to, but you know the fight's kind of hard. Dancer's one of the harder bosses. And it's another very RNG heavy boss. Like sometimes you'll get a really passive dancer, and sometimes you'll get just a fucking aggressive dancer that really just fucks with you. And you're gonna see that here. I get kind of an aggressive dancer, like not too bad, but definitely not ideal. And also that dude just can't stop hitting me. Here I almost get hit by that again. I honestly can't believe I didn't get hit by it. Anyway, make sure you grab the souls, get the bleed resin in, all that stuff. And now I'm finally fighting, and I'm losing time here, which sucked, but that's what happened. You die to dancer, and you know you lose time. In this particular PB that I'm competing against, I had died to Crystal Sage twice, I died to Dragon Slayer Armor twice, and I died to the Nameless King once. So I wasn't getting too frustrated here because I knew I had time saves, but I was getting a little disheartened because I was like, man, I'm kind of getting screwed here. Not screwed, I shouldn't say that. I'm doing a poor job. Like my dodges were bad and stuff like that. So I was getting a little discouraged, but again, try to do your best not to get discouraged. Know that you have time saves later if you do, you know, and don't get too discouraged if you still got time saves to go. So I went back up, and like I said, I shook it off quickly, and I was determined to get a better run. Fortunately, I didn't get hit by those guys this time, which makes it easier. I don't have to heal, and then I can get the bleed resin off quick. And I immediately put my eye on the souls and just said, fuck it, I'm going to go straight for the souls since they're so far out. And I remember saying, like, at least Dancer won't be able to hit me from over there, and she immediately jumps all the way over there and then bitch slaps me. So the fight was already not off to a great start, but as you can see, the bleed does help a lot. I decided to back off and heal. I finally dodged that attack properly and then get into the brunt of the fight. And she's already at half health, just smacking that booty. Now, what you want to do here for this spin to win attack, I don't think this is well known, but if you hug her butt here, you will not get hit. Watch this. You will not get hit. Count 6, and then on 7, she does that attack. Just roll once and you'll dodge it. So again, you can just hug that booty, stick to that booty, like I've said many times, and you will avoid it. Count to 6, and then on the 7th, roll once, and you will dodge it, and you can immediately start hitting her. It's a thing of beauty to be able to dodge the attack like that. The only exception is if she's up against a wall, sometimes she'll bounce off of it, and it'll kind of mess up the rhythm, and then you'll get hit. It's happened to me before. But it's a beautiful thing. It really is. Anyway, you want to run up here and you want to grab the Lothric Castle Bonfire. We're going to use this later to go back to the Dragon Slayer armor. Try to avoid getting hit by those guys, of course, but, you know, you always can't. If you can't light this bonfire, it means the enemy is too close. Make sure you do a quick quit out there. I typically am able to get there without him catching up, but it's no biggie. Sometimes you may want to rest there too. If the dancer fight really took a lot of S's from you, you may want to quit out so you can rest there. But I didn't in this case. I was still pretty good on Estes. I didn't even bother to heal with Henri's because this area gets me pretty good sometimes. What you want to do here, as soon as you hit the elevator, you want to use Spook. And jump right off immediately, straightforward. Jump right down and you'll be safe. Get a roll in, and then right along your way. I always jump right off here. I still got Spook active, so I take no fall damage. And then you want to move on to the Ocelot or Osiris. And this part can be a little hard. Not this particular area, but the area coming up. There's two of these knights. I don't know what they're called. They might be I don't think they're Lothric knights. I'm not sure. Always drop off to the right because there's one to the left. You won't aggro him as hard. And then try your best to dodge that guy. Sometimes he can hit you. And if he does, he's going to take like 2/3 of your health or more. And it can be very frustrating. I'm going to warn you now, Ocelot is one of the more frustrating fights in the run. For me personally, maybe you're really good at Osiris. I struggle with him a lot, so level 1, and struggled in general. Go ahead and use the bleed resin, and my typical strategy for him, hug his little ball sack, whatever you want to call it, just hug his little center, hug his gooey little center. Watch out for his attacks, try to dodge them the best you can. The one you particularly want to watch out for is the ice. If he does the ice thing, you have to get out of there, you just do. You have to get out. With one exception, because then you can go hit the tail like I am there, but with one exception, he staggers in his first phase every 6 hits. So if you happen to be on the 5th hit and he's about to do the ice, you can hit him one more time and you'll stagger him out of it, which is useful. Now here, it's kind of a crapshoot. Like he moves around a lot. It's very hard. There I couldn't see. I was really scared right there. You got to be so careful because his hitboxes are absurd. He has a charge attack that takes about, I think, like maybe 80% of your health. And if he just nudges you during that attack, even with his toe, it hits you. It's a very frustrating fight. It can really get you killed easily. So you got to keep your composure. I do my best, like I said, to try to stay behind him and kind of hug that center area. That's kind of the best thing you can do there. Quit out at the door, per par the usual. And here I was starting to feel good because at least I had a good fight there and I was able to save some time. However, with my splits, I never split until I get to the bonfire in the untended graves. So that's why it may not be as amazing as it seemed like it was. But it was a very good fight. I think it's a gold split if I remember correctly. Now when you go through here, you want to grab the Path of the Dragon emote, and you want to equip it because of course we're going to use that to go to the next one, which if you see Axe and Chain Please, that is the Ancient Wyvern. The reason it is called Axe and Chain Please is because the Ancient Wyvern is not the boss. There is an Axe and Chain dude there who he can one-shot you, and it's very, very scary. Fortunately, I don't die in this run, but I will but I will show you as we go through that boss what I'm talking about, or I'll kind of point it out as we go. Anyway, at this point, you want to go back to the Earhill dungeon. We're going to do another skip here. So this is why we grabbed the Jailbreaker's Key. We grabbed the Jailbreaker's Key because we are going to go through that door now, and we're going to do another one of those cast spook and then quit out skips. This one's probably the scariest of them because you have to jump or you'll die because you'll just fall into the abyss. So you come down here, you'll know in the right spot when you see that item, cast spook, make sure you run, like I said, and jump. Then once you've jumped, quit out when you fall and hit the ground, and then you should spawn right at the entrance or exit to where you would normally go to the Profane Capital. And that's way faster than going through the whole dungeon and, getting through the area with the rats and all that stuff. Way, way faster. Definitely takes a little bit of getting used to, like I said, but you're able to get here pretty quick, which is nice. And now, really, you don't have to worry about these guys at all. Just run straight past them. Yeah, they'll suck away your health, but suck at jailers. Nobody likes you anyway. And then you're just going to go ahead and use the Path of the Dragon emote, and you're good to go. And we're going to be off to the, Archdragon Peak? Can't believe I forgot that for a second. It helps to have the emote ready to go as soon as you get there. That way you can just hit X or A, but I was, distracted a little bit, I guess, there. I don't know. Make sure you heal once you get there, because of course the jailers, being the assholes that they are, probably stole a lot of your health. So go ahead and use your Estus to get some heals on. And now we're gonna run to the Ancient Wyvern. And like I said, we will talk about that as we go. It really is the normal Ancient Wyvern fight. Like, there's nothing special about it. There's no like special strat or anything like that. It's just fighting the Ancient Wyvern. The thing is, you're not killing any of the enemies. You're just running directly for that one-hit KO. So that can be problematic. You really have to be good at running past those enemies. And as I say that, I get hit by an enemy. Because like I said, we all make mistakes sometimes. I always check behind me here to see if there's somebody following me. And in this case, there was. So I will go ahead and quit out because I don't want to take any hits before the Ancient Wyvern, make it any more difficult on me. So at this point in the run, I was feeling pretty good. Like, I knew that I still had the time saves at Turtle King, which is the Dragon Slayer armor, because I died to him twice. So even though in my PB that you could see there, I killed the Axe and Chain in 34 seconds, I was still like, okay, as long as I can do this and not die, and then not die in Turtle King, we're in business. So typically what I do here is I stick to the left side. Every once in a while he'll block you, but most of the time you can run directly to the left of his foot, and that's just the fastest way to get to the next area. Up here, of course, there's the guy with the great shield. You want to avoid that guy the best you can. Typically, he never hits me, and then I always roll, and typically that avoids those guys' attacks. Now, you want to try to regen your stamina here, and then be careful, because as you're running up these stairs, you should get hit by a fireball, or you should have someone shoot a fireball. You got to kind of zigzag at the last minute. If you get hit, no big deal. Just heal on those stairs. But one key is when you're at the top of these stairs, make sure you have full stamina for this run. Run on the outside to avoid that guy, and then you're going to want to get ready to dodge your first fireball. I stick to the left and then zigzag, and then you're going to want to zigzag again shortly to dodge a fireball from behind, and there's Axe and Chain. I always roll right there. I try to get a little stamina back there. This was scary because Chain just hit me right there, or almost hit me right there, you could see. And I knew he was on my ass, and he can hit you on that elevator and just kill you. So what I do is turn around right here and use my shield while that thing is using its fire, because the Axe and Chain can hit you through the floor. And if you have your shield up, he won't kill you or anything. You'll take a little damage, but it won't be a big deal. Anyway, after that, it's just, par for the course. Wait for the attack to be over. Don't get greedy, and then, drop down and wha-bam. KO, as they like to say. When you get to the ground, you want to try to use the souls, but I can never really use them that fast. I only ever really get one off, so like I said, it's not a big deal. You just sell them to the Shrine Handmaid when you get back. And fortunately, after we get through this area, we're finally going to get our full upgrades. We're going to get our Henris to +5. We're going to get our fully upgraded character. So after that, it's just fighting bosses. So after that, if you die to anything, you don't have to worry about souls or anything like that. You just have to worry about getting back to the boss. The middle of the run is very scary, because if you die and lose your souls, it's essentially the end of the run, which sucks. I heal a little bit with Henris here, and as I'm going through, just trying to, conserve healing, which probably didn't need, but I was trying to save time. Watch out for this dude. I have trouble dodging him for some reason, and he's just a hog. Like, he's a fat hog right there with his space. Like, he's taking up space. It triggers me, man, and I got hit from behind. Up here, you want to get another lizard. It's got some Twinkling Titanite. There is a strat where you can actually have him run up those stairs and run off the cliff and kill himself, but I can never get it. And I was very salty there, because it always takes 3 hits to kill him, and for some reason, it just took 4, and I was out of stamina, so I couldn't run at him immediately. Anyway, run up the stairs and roll past that guy. This is hard to time, but you actually can roll through this fire so it doesn't knock you back like that. And then a lot of people don't know about this, but if you go to the left here, you can avoid those 4 rock toads and just run up this wall. That blew my fucking mind, and I was a little chafed when I found out about that, because I always get hit by those rock toads. But anyway, yeah, you run up to the left, and then you're just gonna run through here. Don't worry about any enemies, none of that nonsense, and you're gonna run right up this wall. We're not gonna go for the bonfire quite yet. We're gonna go over here, and we're gonna open this chest, because this is gonna give us the last of the Twinkling Titanite that we need for this run. I always run to the right of this guy. Sometimes he hits you, fuck the stone toad or whatever. Go up the ladder. Because you didn't aggro any of those guys, they won't shoot fireballs at you, which is very nice. And then be prepared for what the rock is cooking. You gotta be ready for it. Always cast Spook before you go near him. Make sure you don't aggro him, because we're gonna fall off here in a second. You grab the Titanite slab. Be ready to roll. That time he rolls away from me, but sometimes he'll go straight for you. You gotta be ready. Now, this is kind of finicky. Like, you kind of got to edge it really carefully, because you don't want to fall off, but then you can jump straight off. You're fine. That little bastard hits me one more time, but whatever. Screw that guy. And then essentially all you're doing here is you're just going back to the bonfire, you're grabbing it, and then instead of doing the bonfire, you use a homeward bone to go back to the shrine bonfire because it's faster. As you're going to see here, I'm going to get hit by this dude as I'm trying to use it. So as always, do your best not to panic. If I died, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. I would have spawned right there, literally. But I didn't want to die. So screw those guys. I really don't like those enemies. They're very pain in the ass. Anyway, sell your souls here to the Shrine Maid, and then go upgrade your Anri Straight Sword to +5. Congratulations, you've got a fully upgraded weapon finally in the run for the last 6 bosses, I believe. I think there's 6 left. And then you want to go level up. You're going to level up 24 Vigor, so that's going to be the final Vigor. You're going to get 19 Endurance. You're finally getting some more Endurance. And then you're going to get 40 Luck. So that's going to be our final build. And then you want to go to Lothric Castle because we're going to go for the Turtle King now. And like I said, now really like there's nothing left in the run that you need. It's really just going to the areas and killing the bosses. There's no more items. There's none of that. It's just good old duking it out. And I will tell you, the Turtle King is a boss I struggle with. His RNG is very finicky. Sometimes he turtles, as I call it, like hiding behind his shield. And if he does that, you just kind of gotta wait, and it's very frustrating. And sometimes he knocks me off the map. Sometimes, you know, he fucks with me. And the thing is, you use a resin for him, and you only have one of them. It's the Pale Pine resin. You only got 2, and you need to use another one on a different boss later, so it can be very frustrating. Don't grab the bonfire there. Don't bother with it. Now, what you want to do here, have as much stamina as possible. You're going to run across this bridge, and you're going to get ready to quit out as you're running. Make sure you keep holding circle, keep running. Just as the fire's about to hit you there, you quit out. Now, what essentially this is going to do is once you come back in the game, the dragons are going to be reset. They haven't breathed their fire yet, so you're essentially safe, and if you quit out at the correct time, like right before as you get hit, you won't have taken any damage either, which is very nice. And that'll allow us to go run straight to the right. It's close, but as long as you are at the bottom of the stairs or so right there, you should be fine. So you go in here, safe and sound. I like to take the Alluring Skull off. You can do it at a different time if you want to. I just kind of forgot about it, and then I take it off there because we only need the 4 items left that I have equipped. Watch out for those guys. They can stand in your way like assholes sometimes. Jump down here. Don't forget about the Lothric Knight to the right. Sometimes he'll buff, sometimes he will attack, so make sure you dodge the attack if he does, because it fucking hurts if he attacks you. Now, if you want to play it safe, grab the elevator here, because you can go back to the Lothric Castle bonfire and take the elevator to get back up to the Dragon Slayer armor. I say do it if you're new, because you may not want to risk dying. It only takes an extra 5 seconds to go for, and it's just a safe strat to do. Now, when you go in the arena, you're going to use the Pale Pine resin, and essentially what you're looking for is to get 6 hits on him. As soon as you get 6 hits on the Dragon Slayer armor, he will stagger, and that will give you an opportunity to get 4 more hits. But really, it's dependent on his attacks. It's very RNG based. Like here, I got lucky, and he kind of just gave me good attacks. So quickly able to get 10 hits on him, and as you can see, that's half his health right there. So that's very good. One attack you really want to try to get is he'll do an overhead slam, like he'll raise his weapon above him and do an overhead slam, but he didn't really do it for me here. I decided not to be greedy and go for more hits and heal, which I hadn't been doing, and that got me killed a lot, so I tried to play it safe here. If you get enough hits on him quickly, you can actually stagger him, and it's basically GG, like if you have stamina, because then you can just, wreck him. But here, I try to play it as safe as possible, because I had been dying so much. There's that overhead attack I was talking about, but he didn't get to get it off because I was victorious. Definitely a fight I had to practice a lot. Maybe you don't have trouble with it, but it's very RNG heavy, in my opinion, so it can be very challenging. Don't bother with that bonfire. I mean, honestly, why is that bonfire there anyway? We're gonna go to the next bonfire, and I typically rest here, even though I have 6 Estus out of my 8. We're not gonna rest at another bonfire before the princes, and the princes, as I've said in my videos, I struggle with very much. So I wanted my I want my full Estus to get through here. Make sure you grab the key, quit out of the door as always, and then we are on our final 5 bosses now out of 19, which at 1 hour beating 14 of the bosses is just crazy. It blows my mind, even as someone who can do this now, that you can actually beat this game this quickly. Of course, we're using very overpowered weapons and stuff to do so, and some interesting strats, but it's crazy that this can be done. So now is just another one of those really long runs. Like you don't even really need any items here. I say you don't need any items. You just got to run through this whole place. And it can be kind of scary. I mean, there's a lot of enemies here that can do shit. Like, I actually had a run before this. It was going pretty well. I'd lost it before that because I actually ended up dying to the Turtle King. But I got waxed by one of those guys, and I had to, like, walk super slow for a while. It was very frustrating. Anyway, just run through here. I try to hug the wall here as much as I can so that guy doesn't hit me with magic. Go up these stairs here. Get ready to deal with a Crystal Sage. Don't get waxed by that guy. Get ready to deal with another magic shooter and this guy with a longsword. Here, I thought I'd outrun it, but that longsword is so fucking long, and he just wanted to penetrate me with it. That's what she said. I heal there and try to do that thing where I talk with the heal cancel, where you heal and then try to drop so you don't go through the full animation, which is pretty nice. And then you're just going to see me run and use Anri's straight sword for a while. Try to get my health back because I want to, like I said, I want to have as much Estus for the princes as possible. I usually get out of the menu here though, so I can do this more carefully because this guy up here was the one who waxed me in my last run, and I was like, I'm not going to get fucking waxed by this guy again. No thank you. I am not letting it happen. Anyway, make sure you take it off the healing thing that you're doing when you need to roll and stuff too, like that. Anywho, keep using the Anri straight sword, and then be ready for the gargoyle that's going to be on the left. I take it off my start menu again to just be ready for him. And then we're going to go roll directly to the right here. This skips a ton of running that you would have to do to the left. And allow you to just, like I said, save a lot of time. This is a speedrun after all. We want to save time, of course. Kept trying to heal with Anri's here, and, you know, I was doing pretty good. I was feeling pretty good about it. I still have 7 Estus, and my health was on the up and up. And feeling pretty good. And then always be wary of these guys. Probably get out of the start menu faster than I do here. That kind of fucked me up here. I dodged that guy, but then I got wrecked by her. And that's the first time she'd ever done that spell to me in a speedrun. I do this elevator because, again, I'm not the best at the princes. I feel like it's a safe strat. It's way better than having to run all the way back through Lothric Castle, and it takes a couple seconds to get it. So I still play safe strats to an extent because I'm not like a super expert runner yet. I'd only been running at this point I've only been running at this point because this was just last night for I think like 2.5 weeks, and this is the first game I've ever speedrun, so very scary at times. Watch these guys. Sometimes they buff, sometimes they don't. Be ready to dodge if they don't buff. Get to the door, quit out. That'll reset their position and save you the time, of course. If you aren't full health, make sure you heal, and then you're going to want to get ready to use Bleed Resin, but we do not use Bleed Resin until the fight starts in this case, because Lorien takes a minute to teleport to you, and you want to use that minute to use your Bleed Resin, just for the sake of saving time. And I'm really bad at dodging that first attack. You got to be careful because the first attack after he teleports can be delayed sometimes. I believe in this, I do dodge it, which it helps because, like I said, you get that Lloyd Sword Ring. You don't want to lose right away. So you use the Bleed Resin and then get ready to dodge. And yes, I do dodge. Now, for this fight, this is hard for me to give advice on because it's clearly a fight I haven't mastered, as you'll see. Like the beginning is good, but the second half is a little sloppy. You want to try to dodge as little as possible. What you really want to do is try to strafe his sword, because like that, I could have just strafed there and I would have been fine. But instead I dodged because I like to be careful here because I suck balls at this fight. Anyway, it was a good first half. Be ready for this part. I mean, I'm sure you've played this fight before. Be ready for all the magic. I roll here like crazy typically just to try to dodge all the magic and get ready for, you know, their attacks. I got back with very minimal damage, which is pretty nice. You actually can run up to them and get in front of that attack, but I didn't try to do it there because I wanted to heal and get Lloyd's back up. Now, the key here is you want to try to hit Lothric and Lorien together as much as possible. So you really want to try to get to the side of them. I always try to go for the right side, but here it got a little sloppy. I started getting hit. I got a little greedy. I started to panic a little, and like as you can see, I ran into a fucking lamppost, and I got lucky there. That could have been it. Little bit longer pull, and it could have been it, but fortunately I was victorious. Once he goes down, if you've done enough damage to Lorien, or excuse me, Lothric, then, you know, you're good. Just back off and then get ready to get back in there, and you should be able to finish him off. Now, for this one, make sure you wait for that or wah sound that I'm talking about, because if you don't, you won't get the soul, and it takes like a good 10-15 seconds for you to get their soul, so make sure you don't warp before you get it. See right there, I warp pretty much as soon as I get it, and that's what you want to aim for. Now, at this point, I was like hype because we were way ahead. I had a bad fight with them. I beat the Turtle King on the first try. We were way ahead, and I was like, fuck yeah. Like, my PB was 1 hour and 21 minutes, and I had been trying for a sub 20 run for a while, and I was really excited. So my splits here are backwards. In my PB, I accidentally went here first. You go to the Untented Graves. You can really do them in any order. It doesn't really matter because you're fully upgraded at this point. But anyway, this is actually Champion Stundir, of course, that I'm going for. So really, you're just going to run through here. And you'll see in a second, there's a way to actually go up here without taking any damage on this fall, which is helpful because then you don't have to heal. Just watch how, like right here, kind of walk on that, and then you're good. You don't take any damage. You want to have your bleed resin ready to go, but if you get hit, and I think I do get hit here. Yeah, I do get hit. You go in here, just don't panic. Like, don't backstep like an idiot like I did. Get your heal on. Make sure you get ready to change your shield because we are going to parry. Those of you I've told I don't parry, I have become a parry king, as you're about to see. My strat for him, this is not the same strat everybody uses, but I go for 3 hits, and then I wait, and I get ready to parry. After I parry him, I take the riposte. If you do this, he will not buff to second stage yet. If you hit him one more time, though, he will. So what you want to do is parry his second attack, go to the side, hit 3 times, roll back twice, and then get ready to parry his next attack. And then hit him 3 times again. And then I went for 1 too many hits there and started to get low on Estus. And then I got scared there because I was like, please don't chain attacks because he's almost dead. But I kept my cool and dodged and got the last hit in. So essentially, if you can get those 3 parries, the 3 hits parry, or 3 hits take the riposte after the parry, parry again and then hit him 3 times, then parry the charge attack after rolling backward and get the 3 hits, and then he's pretty much dead. So that's kind of the strat that I use. You can watch it back and see how I do it. It can be done cleaner than that, but that's the best strat that's worked consistently for me, and that's how I have to play it. That was a good fight. I was very happy with that fight. Now you go back to High Lord Wolnir, and now we're finally going to go kill Old Demon King as the 3rd to last boss in the run. So there's a reason he's called LOL really in my splits. You'll see why. Use your spook here, and be very careful about this drop down because you can fall off the edge if you're not paying attention to where you're dropping down. Make sure that you switch back to the Grass Crest Shield after fighting Champion Stundir because you want to have it, of course, for the stamina, and we're not going to parry any more bosses for the rest of the run. The only bosses you parry in this in my strats are I was forgetting Pontiff and Champion Stundir. And I shouldn't say my strats because I'll probably put it in the intro, but I want to shout out Distortion 2. You can find him on YouTube, searching Distortion 2, or on Twitch. He is the world record holder for the All Bosses run. This route isn't the route that has the world record. There's a teardrop glitch that was patched, but we run on an old patch, which is probably something that I should mention. We run on a 1.04 patch. There is a down patcher on the speedsouls website. The reason we run on that is because of the teardrop glitch and because this is before the S-Stock was nerfed. And of course, as you saw, we used that in the beginning of the run, so that is something I should mention. So definitely check out speedsouls.com. There is a paste bin with notes to go along with all this stuff that I'm talking about, and I use those notes to learn this stuff. And again, big credit to Distortion 2. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. Yeah, he definitely deserves the credit. He's such a good runner, such a good Souls runner. So props to that dude, and thanks to him for the help. Anyway, you go up here, you go for 5 hits. You wait for your stamina to come back. You go for 5 more hits. I try to usually go for 4, but I got stunned there a little bit. And then, go for the extra hits. And there is some like strat to it. You're supposed to go for like 6, 4, 6 because I think it takes 16 hits to kill him, but I usually kind of wing it. And as you can see there, I probably shouldn't do that, but hey, I got a gold. It was a time save, so I ain't complaining. That's because of my PB, I got hit by him twice. But anywho, I went back, and you don't have to level up here, but I got what I like to call bitch vigor. I got myself a little bit of bitch vigor for the Nameless King and the Soul Ascender, because at this point I knew, like, this run was good. I knew with a good Nameless King fight and a good, he's called Jar Jar in my splits because it's a meme from my Twitch stream calling him Soul of Jar Jar, but Soul of Cinder. it was very possible for me to get a PB at this point. My PB was 121, so if I could kill these bosses in 11 minutes, then I'd be able to PB. So I was fucking hyped, and I wanted that bitch figure. Anyway, warp to the Great Belfry, of course, so we can take on the Prodigal Son. I get rid of the Pale Pine resin there, just get it out of the way. Now I have 4 Karthus Rouge here left, which was because I died to the Dancer. You should actually have more than enough, but because I died to the Dancer, I had less. You want to go ahead and bleed, and then you want to try to attack the Wyvern's head. If you attack the Wyvern's head effectively, like I don't do there, you can actually stagger it and riposte it, and it just makes the fight very fast. But in a big way, it's luck of the draw. I mean, you kind of have to wager what attacks you're going to get. Here, I got some pretty good attacks, and I just did a bad job hitting the head. So yeah, I mean, at this point, I was just kind of like, whatever, I'm doing okay. And then, of course, he does this attack. Always be ready for this. It's a huge time waster. Fuck this attack, but it is what it is. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. And then he did this attack, which is a huge time waster. Huge time wasting attack. So I'm pretty sure I fail at dodging this, which if you don't fail at dodging that, which I almost never fail, you can get hits on the head there. I probably could have finished him if I didn't get hit, but it was whatever. I was ready to take on Nameless. And if I remember correctly, this is going to be a very sloppy Nameless fight, but I will kind of tell you as I do this horribly sloppy fight what you should do. First of all, as soon as the Wyvern dies, use another bleed resin. I'm not really sure how that hit me, but I think that may have thrown me off because I started to get really sloppy. Basically, what you want to do with Nameless King is you want to only attack once and then wait for his next attack, dodge it. Once he's done attacking, attack once, and just keep attacking once. Eventually, you will stagger him, and once you do stagger him, you can hit him a bunch, get some damage, but of course you got to get there. And like I said, you gotta be good with the dodges. And I've actually had really easy fights here, but this fight was just sloppy. I don't know if I was like unfocused or something because it was very late at night. I think it was like 4 in the morning my time when I was doing this, but keep your cool and you'll get through it. Luckily, I staggered him there, so I didn't get hit. And you want to get as many hits as you can. Immediately after that stagger, he'll do that attack, so get behind him. Now, if you don't suck at stamina management in the fight like I did there, you actually can stagger him before he uses the lightning, but I didn't have enough stamina to do it, so I just dodged it. And typically after that, you should be able to hit him enough while he's down to kill him, but like I said, I kind of just messed up the strat here. It should be very clean, but it wasn't. So essentially what you want to do is, like I said, hit him one time, wait for his attacks, hit him one more time, wait for his attacks. Once he's staggered, go ham on him and just attack him like crazy. Dodge behind him when he does that lightning, hit him like crazy. He should never even get to use the lightning on you because you should stagger him again. And then once you do, hit him on the ground and the fight's basically over. I bought more Karthus Rouge here because I only had 2. And in the event I died to the Soul Cinder, I didn't want to fuck up the run and have to go back to Firelink and lose a bunch of time. So I just bought a shitload of Karthus Rouge. And of course, now you have to place the ashes. There is a way to do animation cancels on some of these. Like you can actually like slide while you're doing it and slide to the next platform. But I don't know how to do it, so I just always put the ashes on the platform. Once you put the ashes on the platform, of course, you want to go straight to the bonfire because that will take you to the kiln of the first flame. Excuse me, I'm sorry about these coughs. I'm not drinking any water, and I'm sure you can tell I'm talking just yakety yak 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 as I'm doing this. I hope it's helpful. I hope my commentary is helpful. As soon as you get here, use a homeward bone and go to bonfire last rested at. This is a neat trick, and this will take you right to the kiln of the first flame bonfire. I always grab this bonfire just because I think it's worth it. If you die, it'll save you the time of having to teleport back here, and hopefully, though, at this point, you know, you're a fucking champ. You've made it through the game in a ton of, you know, super fast, and you're ready to finally take on the end of it all. Jar Jar or Soul of Cinder. Anyway, as you go to the fight, you want to use a bleed resin. And this is a fight that I also struggle with. I get really greedy in general. Like it's my nature to trade damage and stuff, and I get kind of greedy. And I do remember this fight was not very good. You typically want to dodge his attacks and then hit once, maybe twice, but really you just gotta be better with your dodges, better than I was. And eventually you'll stagger him, of course, and you can get pretty massive damage. The bleed helps too. I tried to get away there and heal and just wrecked. But I mean, there's not too much to say about this fight, because it's essentially a normal Soul of Cinder fight. You just have a lot of bleed and a powerful weapon to do it with. I got lucky here and got Sorcerer. Like, I was having a very sloppy fight, and I think that I would have been screwed, honestly, if I hadn't got Sorcerer. Like, if I had gotten Pyro or something, God forbid, that would have sucked. Anyway, get back, of course, and go ahead and heal and bleed again, because your bleed is probably running dry. Go up. I go for 2 to 3 hits. I got there late, but you can dodge that effectively if you know the timing and get out and be safe. Then run back in. You should be safe to get 3 hits here before he doesn't attack. So 3 hits and then get ready to dodge. Be careful about your stamina here, though, because he will go for those grabs. And if he goes for those grabs, you want to be able to avoid him. Fortunately, he didn't try to grab me here at all. He just did that. And I had a pretty good second phase there. The first phase was sloppy, but my second phase was very clean. Go find that pile of ashes, and that's where the bonfire is going to appear. Just go ahead and link the first flame as fast as you can. I always fuck it up because I'm so excited. And then skip the cutscene. You want to click no on starting journey number 2, because that would take you through another cutscene, and you don't want to deal with any of that. And you want to just immediately quit out, and then that is the end of the run. That is when you split for Soul of Cinder, and that is when the run is done. And as you can see here, I was extremely pumped. Like I said, I'd only been speedrunning the game for 2.5 weeks, and I'd never done a speedrun before. And to be able to beat Dark Souls 3, a game that a lot of people consider to be very hard, in an hour and 16 minutes, almost hour and 17, was very, very rewarding. And I had been having some really bad runs this particular week, and just like I felt like my hard work wasn't paying off. Like, I was getting better, but I was making a lot of mental mistakes. And as you saw in this run, I died sometimes and did some stupid stuff, but that should tell you that, it's okay. You can make some mistakes and you can still have an amazing time. Beating 19 bosses in an hour and 16, hour 17, whatever, you want to round it to. I feel like it's pretty damn cool. It felt like a really cool achievement. It's something that I wanted to share with you guys, and something that I wanted to help you with. If you want to run the game yourself, then maybe you can use my stream to follow his advice, or my YouTube video that is a re-uploaded stream. Like I said, definitely check out speedsouls.com. They have notes for this route on Dark Souls 3 section of the website for the Anri Straight Sword route. That essentially tell you everything I told you in a very finite way. If you want to look at those notes and follow along with my video, if Distortion, I think, also linked a video of his there that is the record run for this route, which I think is 1:02:57, so much more impressive than what I did. Be sure to check out his stuff too. Like I said, Distortion, very cool runner. Definitely deserves props for having a lot of world records out there at times. And like I said, I think he's got the all bosses record right now at 59:43 with the teardrop route, which the fact that he could beat all bosses in under 59 or under an hour, even with glitches, is pretty cool. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my commentary. I tried to do the best I could to be very descriptive and helpful about the things that I do in the speedrun. Sorry if it wasn't like entertaining in the normal way that it would be, but I try to be just more narrative and descriptive. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.